So hello guys, welcome to Pet Idea. So today we are going to discussing about classical swine fever. So what in the introduction is a highly contagious, infectious viral disease and affecting pigs. Very important viral disease all over the world of pigs. Clinically, it is distinguishable from African swine fever and can cause very serious losses. Synonymous swine fever, European swine fever, whole cholera, swine plague, epidemiology. Classical swine fever present in Europe, East Africa, Central Africa, Mexico, and other Central American countries. Most of the South America is also very present in Indian subcontinent, China, East, Southeast Asia, Korea, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam. In the region, the disease has been recorded in Australia, eliminated since 1962, French Polynesia, eliminated since 1972, New Zealand, this is nothing important in this. Whole cholera has been eradicated in US in 1978. What is the etiology? Etiology behind the classical swine fever is Flaviviridae family and having the pestivirus, classical swine fever virus, virions, special characteristic feature is gives virions do not form inclusion bodies, spherical enveloped virions with icosahedral capsid. You know about the symmetry of virus, including icosahedral. Genome is linear, positive sense, single-stranded RNA. The virus does not hemagglutinate or hemabsorb. Virus is moderately fragile, do not persist in environment or spread long distance by airborne route. So what are those susceptible hosts regarding classical swine fever? Mainly pigs, warthogs, wild pigs, pigs both domestic, Sus domesticus and wild pig, Sus scrofa are the only natural host. There is no evidence that classical swine fever infect humans. Per acute case mortality is 100%. This is the important that per acute case mortality is 100%. And ह्यूमंस में कोई ट्रांसमिशन कोई इन्फेक्शन नहीं होता क्लासिकल स्वाइन फीवर्स का नॉट रिपोर्टेड yet in humans. And transmission is most common method transmission through direct contact between. So in the introduction part I said that it is highly contagious infectious disease. Okay, those infected with CSF virus. The virus had in saliva secretions, including nasal secretions, urine, feces, contact with contaminated vehicles, pens, feed, and clothing, and by spread. So, animals that are chronic carriers of disease persistently infected. Oh, who are the chronic carriers of disease? Those are persistently infected with classical swine fever, may show no clinical signs of illness but may shed viruses in the feces. Uh, Offspring of infected so can become infected in uterus and can shed the virus for months. Classical swine fever virus can survive in pork and processed pork products for months, meat refrigerated for years, and frozen pigs can become infected by eating CSF infected pork meats or products. Okay, only pigs can infected, not humans. They are no. If they are consuming, they are not infected. It has been proven that in parts of Europe, the wild boar population play a major role in epidemiology of disease. Wild pigs proving wild pigs are playing a major role in epidemiology of disease. The disease has been spread through legal or illegal transport animals, uh, or by feeding, swill feeding containing infected tissues to pigs. You know the swill feeding is the common practice in swine industry. Incubation period 3 to 7 days. Having the incubation period, a death occurring within 10 days after infection. What is pathogenesis is not so important for medicine part, so we are escaping. And let me know if you want to go through this in the comments below. So what are the clinical signs? It is having the three or two forms. One is first is acute form, uh, having caused by more virulent virus strains or in younger pigs. And what are the clinical signs regarding acute form is high fever, 41 degrees centigrade or 41 degrees centigrade in swine, anorexia होगा, lethargy होगी, multifocal hyperemia होगा और hemorrhagic lesions होंगे over skin and conjunctivitis होगा, conjunctiva का inflammation होगा, analyze swollen lymph nodes, cyanosis of skin, mainly the extremities. Okay, extremity includes limbs, tail, swine, ear. Okay, the clinical signs again transit constipation followed by diarrhea, vomiting occasional, dyspnea, coughing. There will be a respiratory losses like dyspnea, coughing, or there will be difficulty in movement, ataxia, paresis, or convulsions. You should know about the etiology behind the paresis and the convulsions occurring by involvement of both upper motor neuron and lower motor neuron, and paralysis involving the incomplete part of paralysis of animal body involving one motor neuron, maybe the upper, maybe lower. No, in paralysis only the lower motor neuron is involved. Okay, pigs huddle together, they are getting close together. uh, so death occur after 5 to 25 days. Okay, mortality in young 100%. And the chronic form less caused by less virulent strains or in partially immune herds. There is dullness, capricious appetite, pyrexia, diarrhea for up to 1 month, ruffled appearance of pigs. There will be ruffled appearance of skin and pigs. Of the pigs, growth retardation there, poor productive performance with only breeding or sympathetic apparent recovery with a eventual prolapse, eventual relapse, apparent recovery. There will be a recovery for some time with a eventual relapse and a death within 3 months. What is the congenital form? Uh, Outcome depends on the virulence of virus strain or and stage of the station. They so what is there is this congenital form depends on by its name. It's relating to gestation and occurring fetal death, resorption there, the mummification. You know, the one of the cause of the mummification is stillbirth. Or stillbirth is swine, classical swine fever. Abortion, congenital tremors, weakness. There tremors, running, and poor growth over a period of weeks or months leading to death. Bone clinically normal but persistently varying with no antibody response. Important intermittent shedders of virus until dying in 6 to 12 months. Late onset form. Here the fourth form is mild form. Usually older animals outcome depends on virulence virus. Transit pyrexia there, and inhabitants recovery there, lifelong immunity there. What are the microscopic lesions? In chronic form and in acute form, we are differentiating them one by one. In chronic form, there will be button ulcers, which is the characteristic form of swine. Classical swine fever is button ulcers in cecum and large intestinal mucosa. Strawberry appearance of lymph node. Lymph node appears like strawberry consistency. Uh, Kidney are like a turkey egg of turkey, and generalized depletion of lymphoid tissue transverse strains of unmodeled growth cartilage at costochondral junction in growing pigs. Unmodeled growth cartilage is there, and generalized depletion of lymphoid tissue. Okay, and next is anasarca is there, congenital. mm, Anasarca, there is accumulation of fluid in this subcut or in the tissues of fetus, giving it swollen appearance, and if there is and there is cerebral hyperplasia also. And what in acute form is leukopenia and thrombocytopenia. The deficiency of WBC and platelets there. हेमोरेजिस होंगे लिम्फ नोड्स में, एनलार्ज होंगी हेमोरेजिक लिम्फ नोड्स, पेटेकी मिलेंगे, इकाइमोसिस मिलेगा, पिन पॉइंट पेटेकी मिलेंगे, एंड स्पेशली इन स्किन लिम्फ नोड्स एपिग्लोटिस वेयर दे फाइंड kidney, rectum, bladder, epiglottis, lymph nodes, skin. There will be widespread petechiae and ecchymosis, pinpoint hemorrhages. Severe tonsillitis, infection of tonsils with necrotic foci, tonsils necrotic. There is necrotic lesions in tonsils region, multifocal infarction of the margin of spleen. The spleen is infarcted, and there will be infarction will be multifocused and nearly pathognomic, but occurs infrequently with currently circulating strains. Lungs may be congested. Affecting lungs are congested and hemorrhagic. So these are the anatomical pathological conditions shown in the pictures. These are the button ulcers. I am showing you. These are the button ulcers of intestine of swine, large intestine of swine. You see the reddened mucosa, red hyperemic mucosa there, and elevated surface area of the mucosa of large intestine, having the button shaped ulcers. And the next slide showing button ulcers, necros, button ulcers of spleen, splenic infarctions there, their spleen uh, having infarcted area. These blackish areas are infarcted areas of the spleen, and it is shown that spleen is little bit hyperemic in nature or congested type. Infarct are also seen in post. There is some additional points that infarcts can be seen with porcine circovirus and septicemia salmonellosis and mycoplasma hemorrhagic. So next is button ulcers के लिए multifocal fibronecrotic colitis. In colon there is inflammation of colon and having button ulcers multifocused here, and here. you are seeing as this. Okay, with colitis, inflammation of colon. And in this picture, there is showing the hyperemia of the lower region, uh, and the huddling of huddling nature of the infected pigs. So it is so because this disease is considered as highly contagious in nature. So huddling will be very dangerous for the swine farm. And one more, the slide showing the petechiae, uh, cyanosis of ears, and petechiae on kidney surfaces. You are seeing pinpoint hemorrhages in this spleen, in this kidney. Oh, sorry, in this kidney, uh, and hemorrhaging intestine and mesenteric lymph nodes are there. Intestine having hemorrhages and mesenteric lymph nodes are swollen. Kidney is appearing like egg of turkey. This is one additional point I already discussed. So next lies there is spleen showing enlargement and there is hemorrhages, severe hemorrhages in the spleen. So you are seeing the blackish areas, enlarged and hemorrhagic lymph node. There are lymph nodes uh, enlarged and hemorrhagic hemorrhages are there within the spleen, within the lymph nodes. What are the microscopic lesions? I already discussed them on the DIC with the microthrombi, fibrinoid, necrosis of vessels, okay, hydropic degeneration, proliferation of endothelium, and diagnosis, virus isolation, tonsils, pharynx, blood, spleen, lymph nodes are collected, spleen, turkey egg appearance, lymph nodes are necrosed, hemorrhage is there, and blood, there is leukopenia is there, and thrombocytopenia is there, and tonsils, in tonsils there is inflammation called tonsillitis, and pharyngitis having the lymph nodes again. Antigenic antigen detection is there by uh, fluorescent immunoassay and immunoperoxidase staining or by ELISA. Serology, virus neutralization assay or ELISA used. Prevention and control, this is the important part where economy plays a major role in controlling the disease outbreak in a farm or preventing it from becoming an epidemic. So what are the precautions we have to take to prevent the spread of this classical swine fever? When an outbreak occurs, many actions must be set in place urgently. According to this, the slaughter of all pigs on affected farms, safe disposal of carcass bedding, thorough disinfection, designation of infected zones, uh, with control of pig movements, and one additional point there will be uh, there are some incidences recording in India in Assam areas or even in the in the closing states in UP and in Haryana also. It has been recorded that there are perfectly classical swine fever cases recorded there, and the detailed epidemiologic investigation with tracing of possible sources upstream and the surveillance of infected zone and surrounding areas. And these are the common medicines or used or vaccines used for classical swine fever, as like EC pigvac, DS, or hog cholera, and IVRI vaccine, classical swine fever, live attenuated CSF, BS, and the Raksha class classical swine fever vaccine, live vaccine, Raksha class, and one more is Porcellus CSF live vaccine. And the facts regarding classical swine fever: the virus is susceptible to ether, chloroform, beta propylactone. So we are using these chemicals to neutralizing the deleterious effects of this virus. Classical swine, one of the diseases for which AOI has produced for the official recognition of disease status. There is no known risk that the CSO virus may cause any disease to animals. I already discussed. And so, guys, thank you. Please make subscribe. Please do subscribe and like to my channel, Vetped Idea. Always in your service, always in the vet service. So, guys, thank you again. मैंने पढ़ लिया See, or the complications of the